Everyone knows the ingredients to create a perfect little girl. Take a bit of sugar, spice, and whatever counts as everything nice these days. But everyone also knows that if they throw in a dose of accidental on purpose chemical X, they'll get 3 girls instead of 1. They'll get some version of Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. This iconic recipe is one remembered by my generation, the one before it, and the one after. And it will continue to be remembered for how great it is. Or at least how great it used to be. But no matter how great it is or used to be, we still need to figure out the worst episode of Powerpuff Girls. The good one, of course. There are currently 3 iterations of the Powerpuff Girls television franchise that I have seen exactly one of to completion. And based on my severe lack of knowledge, I'm going to definitively say that Powerpuff Girls 98 is the only one worth watching. It's a beacon of female empowerment that the entire family could enjoy. Boys, girls, moms, and dads alike. It's a quick-wittedly clever comedy that is so violent. It rivals the first 4 seasons of Samurai Jack in how faux bloody it is. At least until that actually got blood in its final season. The girls beat and dismember in such a gruesome way. They're not fighting robots that spew oil. Real monster blood and guts are on display for the entire town to see and eventually clean up. Of course, this is another baby produced by the great Genndy Tartakovsky and creation of the great Craig McCracken. And we all know how much I love mentioning how much I love Genndy Tartakovsky's work. Hotel Transylvania notwithstanding. He gave us Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack, of course, Star Wars Clone Wars, and directed a bunch of early Powerpuff Girls episodes alongside McCracken. Looking at the combat of the show, the lines of comparison are clearly drawn. Through Samurai Jack, Tartakovsky told stories with silence and stills. These bold and stark images set the tone of motion just as well as any animation. And with a combination of simplistic animation and striking stills, those working on Samurai Jack were able to make the scenes sing. This is no different with Powerpuff Girls. The girls kick butt and take names on a daily basis because the crime rate in Townsville is astronomical. And they're better for it because they all love fighting. McCracken didn't stray away from violence when writing them. They serve knuckle sandwiches to their enemies, and there's nothing sweeter. But they never lose touch with their femininity. They're little Wonder Women, and they act the part. Camp. Something so outrageously artificial, affected, inappropriate, or out of date as to be considered amusing. You've seen or at least heard of Adam West's campy Batman, so you know what it means. Powerpuff Girls embodies camp so purposefully with its writing and animation that it's almost painful how cheesy it gets sometimes. But this is what the show is. It's smart and makes fun of the genres it tackles. It wears the cheeseball badge proudly and accentuates them when necessary. The announcer does all the heavy lifting and never disappoints. It's episodes like Mojo Jonesin that come to mind. The title alone is something to applaud. For a children's show, Powerpuff Girls took some leaps to separate itself from other wholesome animated programs. It begins with the Powerpuff Girls displaying their extraordinary super abilities while their schoolmates look on in awe and amazement. And like children do, a couple new extras walk home gushing about how cool the Powerpuff Girls are and how badly they wish they had superpowers. And like clockwork, their prayers are answered. A shrouded Mojo Jonesin offers them exactly what they want. A chance to experience the world as one of the Powerpuff Girls. The small dose of Chemical X works as intended. All is well and good. These 4 children get to be the Powerpuff Girls for a short while. The Mojo Jonesin asks them for nothing in return, except to have fun. But for the next go-around that they're all itching for, Mojo Jonesin does ask for something in return. He asks them to destroy the Powerpuff Girls, and they agree without a moment's hesitation. What is it they say? The universal they? Absolute power corrupts absolutely? All it took was one hit of Mojo's drug. All it took was a few minutes of experiencing the Powerpuff life for these kids to agree to destroy their friends. And they were successful until they spent the last ounce of their power to resurrect the Powerpuff Girls. Power is a powerful drug. The first one is always free. It's such a true and righteous life lesson that it could be taught in Sunday school. Never ever take anything from a shady, trench-coated figure you met moments ago in an even shadier alley. Nothing is ever free. Everything demands payment. It's a short lesson in truth, addiction, envy, wrapped all in one with a nice drug-fueled tagline. Mojo pushes too far, is now behind bars. It's smart. It isn't ham-fisted and it doesn't overstay its welcome. The best jokes always know when they must come to an end. That is, unless it's one of my favorite episodes, The Bare Facts. This little gem is Powerpuff Girls at its finest. You know the punchline before it even starts, and even if you don't, it's all the better. The mayor goes about his day, as usual, until he's captured and blindfolded by Mojo Jojo. And also, as usual, the Powerpuff Girls rush to the rescue to save the mayor and save the day. And all the mayor wants to know is what happened while he couldn't see. And more importantly, why the girls were laughing when they returned him to his office. The girls take turns and interrupt each other, telling the mayor the story of what took place. This is the episode. Bubbles takes the lead with a flowery telling of the story starting at school. But mostly she talks about the pictures she drew in class. It is adorable when you think about it. She's really proud of her work. But then Blossom takes the lead, embellishing on the story, making it all about herself, as Blossom does. She takes it from the beginning of the day again, which would have been horrible to listen to if she had not been interrupted by her sisters and the mayor alike with nonsensical questions and non sequiturs. But Buttercup saves the story with what the mayor really wants. The title of this episode, The Bare Facts. But that's not the end. We need to learn what color flowers Bubbles drew, who wrote the mayor's note, who writes his speeches, and ultimately, why the girls were laughing. It's all terribly confusing, but the girls make it to the end all the same, without answering the mayor's biggest question. I don't think he ever figured it out either. But by this point, I have figured out the worst episode of Powerpuff Girls, so to do away with the suspense and put your nerves at ease, I'll tell you, it's 204, Dream Schemes. It's the lullaby first and foremost. Boring! Yeah, but in all seriousness, it's one of those cartoon episodes that's in verse. It's always the odd one out, you know? Like the first Johnny Bravo Christmas episode, narrated by the late Adam West, in fact. Like the Billy and Mandy episode with the wishing skull. Really anything narrated in verse or in song is what I'm getting at. It's one of those. But on to the episode. The Sandman does his job, putting everyone to sleep, because as long as people need to sleep, he cannot. And then there's the insomniac Powerpuff Girls. The Sandman is fed up and tired of being tired, so, to cut corners, he devises an idea for a machine to put everyone in the world to sleep forever. So, naturally, the Powerpuff Girls have to kick his ass. It is Powerpuff Girls, after all. I appreciate the verse and the fact that everything rhymes. It takes me back to my days of playing through Child of Light. But the motivations of the Sandman are something I can't get behind. This is his Bond villain territory. All for what? He wants to get a little more sleep. Sleep is for the weak. I know it, but he doesn't. He should quit his job altogether, we don't need him. But unfortunately, many people disagree with me and yearn for those sweet hours of sleep they get every night. What this episode really is a kick in the pants for old Sandman. There's truly no rest for the wicked. The Powerpuff Girls beat him back into shape inside his nightmare-inducing dreams long enough to get him running on the repetitive corporate wheel again. He has a job and he must do it. But that doesn't sit right with me. Monotony's the worst shit in the world, and I commend Sandman for his attempt to break the cycle. But I don't at all agree with his methods of putting everyone to sleep forever. But, as always, nobody's perfect. Good episode with a familiar premise and shtick, but uninspiring motives and message. Yeah, there you have it, my worst episode of the Powerpuff Girls. A very special Blossom is up there for terrible messages as well. I want these clubs, girls, there's nothing in the world I want more, and I know you can't get them for me. Oh, you got them? Thanks, no questions asked. Don't steal, girls, thumbs up. What are your personal best and worst of Powerpuff Girls? Let us know down in the comments. And for more videos like this, subscribe to Stun Club Soda. Keep coming back for those uploads.